Hello, fellow Christmas lovers and enthusiasts. You are listening to Closer to Christmas, the Christmas podcast where every episode that comes out, we all get a little bit closer to Christmas. My name is Charlie, and on this episode of Closer to Christmas, it is a very special day because, drumroll please, it is 100 days left until Christmas. That's right, folks, Christmas is creeping up fast, and it's time to start feeling that holiday joy. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about some fun Christmas facts, share a few holiday stories, and go over ways that you could celebrate as we begin the 100-day countdown. So grab your favorite blend of coffee, hot cocoa, any beverage of choice, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning into this episode of Closer to Christmas. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, thank you for coming back for more. As I said at the top of the show, there is 100 days left until Christmas, and it's also another special day because it's my older son's birthday. He turned 16 years old today, so if I'm not bald enough by now, I'm going to be bald very quick now that he's 16. But before I get into all the fun, here is a message from another Christmas podcast on the Christmas Podcast Network.
Hey, I'm Matt from North Pole Radio, and I wrote a book with Santa Claus. No, really, I did, and you can read it right now. It's available. It's called Santa in His Own Words, and it tells the story of Santa's life, you guessed it, in his own words. It is a historical, magical journey that begins in the country of Lycia and spans all over the world, finally ending up at the North Pole. Why does Santa live at the North Pole? How do reindeer fly? How did Santa meet the elves? How did Santa meet Mrs. Claus? You can find out all of that and more in this book. You can find it now on Amazon or on Barnes & Noble's website. It's available in paperback or for your e-reader if you prefer that. So go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and purchase your preferred format today. Thanks for reading, and remember, as always, keep Christmas with you.
All right, so as we all get in the Christmas spirit here with 100 days left until Christmas, I'm going to go over a fun Christmas facts for you guys. Most of the stuff maybe you guys already know, but if not, maybe you could pick up a fun fact that you could share with somebody else as we try to get everybody into the holiday spirit. Before I get into this, though, I do want to say I was at my local store, my local Walmart the other day, and they started putting out a lot of the Christmas stuff, and some of the stuff this year is pretty neat, but it is that time of the year. It just seems like it happens earlier and earlier every year. I know a lot of people don't like that. I always enjoy going in there and seeing it, but it seems like the stuff flies off the shelf a lot quicker since it does get put out earlier. So if you happen to be walking past a Walmart or Sam's Club or something like that, stop in and see if they started putting out the Christmas stuff. But on to some fun Christmas facts. So the origin of the Christmas tree, decorating the Christmas tree dates all the way back to the 16th century in Germany. Legend has it that Martin Luther was the first person to decorate a tree with candles, which later became twinkling lights. It's amazing to think how that tradition spread around the world. A little fact about some Christmas around the world. Did you know that in Japan, one of the most popular Christmas meals is KFC? Yep, that's right. You have to pre-order your meal so you could pick it up, but that was thanks to a wildly successful marketing campaign in the 70s. Millions of Japanese families now make fried chicken part of their Christmas Eve traditions. There are many classic Christmas carols, but the 12 Days of Christmas is the longest traditional carol we sing, listing a series of increasingly extravagant gifts. Fun fact, if you actually received all of the gifts mentioned, you'd get a total of 364 items.
Mo. To Stories of Christmas Past. This is the story of childhood Christmas surprise. I remember one Christmas Eve, my parents set up a Santa trap for my siblings and me. They told us that we could catch Santa in the act if we stayed up late enough. We were determined. We put out cookies, milk, and even jingle bells on the floor, hoping to hear him. We waited until midnight, but eventually we dozed off. The next morning, we found our traps were sprung, and the cookies were eaten, and even a note from Santa thanking us for the effort. I still wonder how many parents pulled that off. And that was Stories of Christmas Past.
All right, now that we're all feeling a little festive, let's talk about things that you could do starting today to kick off the holiday season early. Just because we're 100 days out doesn't mean we can't still start the celebration. As I mentioned before, go to your stores, start hopping in all those places and see if you could find some Christmas merchandise out on the shelf. It's always a good feeling to walk through there and see it. You could start your advent calendar early. Who says that advent calendars are only for December? You can make a 100-day countdown calendar with tiny little treats, tasks, or even notes for yourself leading up to Christmas. Each day you could have a festive activity like watching a holiday movie, making a Christmas craft, or trying out a new seasonal recipe. You could also begin your gift list. It's never too early to start thinking about gifts. Begin brainstorming ideas and jotting down on a piece of paper what you would like to get for your loved ones. Better yet, if you're into DIY gifts, now's the perfect time to start making them. You could also decorate slowly. Instead of doing all your decorating at once, why not add a little Christmas cheer to your home gradually over the next few months? Start with some stuff for fall that can transition into winter, and then as you get closer to the big day, you can start adding more Christmas-centric items like garland, lights, and even a Christmas village. You could also jot down a holiday bucket list. You can make a list of all of the fun holiday activities that you want to do this year: ice skating, baking cookies, going to a Christmas market. Get them all written down so that you could start planning your adventures. And one of the most important ones that I should probably take my advice and do this is pre-holiday cleaning and decluttering. While it isn't the most festive thing, it'll make your holiday season smoother. So you can get your home in order now, which means that you can relax and enjoy the fun part of Christmas decorating when it gets closer. And one more final thing here before I head out for the day and we enjoy the last day of triple digits until Christmas 2024. The Christmas art project that I'm doing coming up this year, I believe I'm going to start it on November 1st. It'll be 25 days of Christmas art. So if you follow me over on Instagram, over on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, at Closer to Xmas on both of those, I'm going to be posting up daily one-of-a-kind pieces of miniature art, and it's on a first-come, first-served basis. I will be putting out more information on that, but I do believe the starting date for that is going to be November 1st, and it will be 25 days of original art, and it will be up for grabs. If you are interested in that, make sure you're following my accounts, and I'll have more information on that a little bit later. And that wraps up our 100-day Christmas countdown episode. Whether you're already starting decorating for Christmas or singing Christmas carols or just getting ready to embrace the holiday season, it's never too early to start spreading joy. So I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Closer to Christmas. And remember, the next time you hear my voice and this podcast, we are all going to be a little bit closer to Christmas. Thank you for listening. I would like to thank Kevin Ague for the use of his music for the intro and outro to this episode. Links to his music can be found on the show notes for this episode. If you could take a minute of your time and rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this show, it would be greatly appreciated. You could email the show at closertochristmaspodcast@gmail.com, and you could visit us online at closertochristmas.com. If you would like to have your voice heard on the show, or if you'd just like to send in a question or a comment, head over to closertochristmas.com and click on the message button. And finally, if you would like to follow our social media so you could see any pictures I might have discussed on the show, you could check us out on Twitter and Instagram, both at Closer to Xmas.
Closer to Christmas is a proud member of the Christmas Podcast Network. The Christmas Podcast Network is home to hundreds of great Christmas podcasts from all around the world.
Okay, Elfie, I'll take it from here. Make sure you visit the Christmas Podcast Network at christmaspodcasts.com.